Hi everybody, it's Tracy from Downward Dog Rising. Welcome. I'm going to break down some fundamental moves that we use in Pilates, and also later I'm going to hook it into yoga, but tonight's going to be the Pilates part, and a different day it's going to be the yoga part. So I'm going to break down corkscrew, and you need to be able to do a bridge. You need to be able to do an articulating bridge. You need to be able to do single leg circle. And then roll over will come later, but basically I want you to be able to do single leg circle, and then I want you to be able to feel how a stable pelvis is compared to your legs moving, because legs have to move where pelvis doesn't. So I'm going to go over that right now. Join me if this sounds like something you're interested in doing. It'll help develop core strength with stability as well in your low back. So if you have low back issues, this would be great for you. Okay, join me. We're going to start off on our mat. I want you to lay down on your back. Basically, your feet are going to be hip distance apart. Shoulders aligned with hips, aligned with knees, ankles. Center of knees, align over second toes. Your two hip bones are going to be 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock on the face of a clock. And then your pelvic tilting pubic bone is 6 o'clock, navel is 12 o'clock. So what I want you to do is essentially tighten your core to your spine, and then you roll your hips back, and then you release by rolling hips forward. But I want you to do it by tightening your abdominals into your spine. So you're going to exhale. If you are on all fours, this would be cat in yoga, cat, round back, and then you would do inhale as you lengthen spine. Here you're arching your back. So round back, arched back. So you're in, going towards 12 o'clock, going towards 6 o'clock, 3 more. So you're going to exhale, tighten core, breathing in, 2 more. And last one. Now going in between the 2 points, lengthen tailbone away from breastbone. You would just lift straight up, lower straight back to mat. Keep collarbones wide across shoulders, chest, no weight in neck. Let's just do 4 more. Bring your pelvis straight back to mat. 3 more. Exhale. Keep really wide across chest, shoulders. Lower back down 2 more times. Exhale. Collarbones wide, tailbone away from breastbone. Good. 1 more. Straight up, straight back to mat. Okay, next part of this. This will help corkscrew, believe it or not. You have 3 o'clock right hip bone, 9 o'clock left hip bone, navel in the middle. Think of drawing a straight line across your pelvis. And then we never shorten the space between the ribs and the hips. We have to create length in there so we don't hip hike. So what I mean by that, if you have space between your rib cage and your hip bone, can you physically figure out which muscles you have to engage for your hip bone to go straight up in the air above your hip? Pull it back in, go into your obliques, those muscles wrapping those ribs. You're going to inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. We want the least amount of motion as possible with the legs. Keep legs as stable as you can and try to just move your hips. So you're going to go inhale, one hip goes up without shortening the space between ribcage hip bones. 4 more. 3, 2, the pelvis goes from side to side without shortening the space. Last one. Come back center. Notice how your tailbone is really heavy on the mat, so that's important. Okay, now this next part of the exercise is to further create your awareness of how your pelvis stays stable. The previous thing, your hips move, but your legs were still. This time, hips do not move, but hips are still, but your leg moves. We're going to stretch arms long, pick one leg up in the air. Now, make sure tailbone's heavy, Reach across midline. Keep the space between ribs and hips. You can point your toes if you like. You would lift the leg, kneecap to sky. The straight leg that's on the ground, you'd actually be pushing that heel into the floor. You'd be stretching top of head away from tailbone. Your leg would cross over midline as long as there's no hip replacement. And then you would circle that leg using the inhales and the exhales. Inhale, exhale, come back. Pull those ribs around together. Use your obliques. Inhale, exhale. Nothing in your body should move except for that leg. Inhale, exhale. 2 more. We're going to do 5 circles each way. Single leg circle. Really draw the abdominals into your spine. Last one. Breathing in, breathing out. Use the breath. Feel ribs expand. Head away from tailbone. Axial elongation. 4. Breathing in, breathing out. Keep the pelvis stable. The core drawing into your spine is what keeps your pelvis stable. 2 more. And last one. Breathing in, breathing out. All right, that leg goes down. Keep that space. Other leg goes up. So your right heel, if your right leg's down on the floor, press right heel into the mat. Right knee to sky. Point toes of left leg. Now you're going to reach across midline. Inhale. Exhale. Ribs funnel together in front. They meet in the middle. Breathing in. Chest is wide open. Shoulders relaxed away from ears. Exhale. Use the core, use the breath like you're wringing out a wet towel. Breathe in, breathe out. 2 more. Breathe in, breathe out. 1 more. Control. One leg reaches to sky, other leg reaches out of midline. Reverse direction for 5. Outer thigh, inner thigh. Core control. 4. Use your core. Wring out the wet sponge. 3. Circle around, come back. 2 more. And 1 more time, breathing in and breathing out. Leg comes down to mat. Good job. Okay, so stable pelvis is what we're working on. And the next part of this exercise is pendulum. Collarbones wide, head away from tailbone. Make sure when you lift your legs up into the air, make sure you don't let your back arch like that. Careful, keep back elongated into mat. Now basically, there's a straight line under 80 degrees. Your legs go to one side. Now I want you to think of wringing out a wet sponge. It's this side of your obliques that bring you back center. Use your exhales, those ribs pull around. Now you bring your legs to the other side, pendulum. Now use this opposite side of your ribs. Wrap, pull around center. Tailbone stays heavy on mat. Pull and wrap the sides of your waist. Breathe in to one side. Exhale, center. Modified, you would do this with your knees bent, and you would really just wrap those ribs. Modified, tailbones on mat. 2 more. Pendulum. Use the breathing. Wrap those ribs. 1 more. Breathing in. Exhale. Breathing out. Breathe in. Breathe out. All right. Okay, so here comes part of your corkscrew. Modified corkscrew. We're going to do that one first. Pelvis never leaves the mat. You're in neutral spine. Collarbones wide. Legs lift into air. Tailbone never leaves the floor. Inhale. Feel chest wide open. Circle. Exhale, return to the middle. Think of wringing out a wet sponge, sides of waist. Inhale, circle the other direction. Exhale. Exhale. Feel ribs expand, really draw core tight to low back. 1 more each way. Breathing in. Abdominals hug in tight. Last one. Breathing in. Exhale, back center. Good. Okay, so now that's modified corkscrew. So we're going to try right now articulating bridge 5 times, meaning you have neutral spine. You're going to curl hip bones back so that your back is really close to the mat, lengthened towards navel, 12 o'clock. Peel up, tailbone up, pelvis up, sequentially. Draw your core tight. Work through each vertebra. We're only going to mid-back, no higher. Avoid going into your neck vertebra. You should feel wide across shoulders, chest, collarbones wide. Release your sternum, your breastbone. Come down a little deeper. Roll down. Work on each section. And then you go release your spine by rolling towards 6 o'clock. One more. We'll do a couple more. Pinpointing each area of your spine. Use the breath. I'm being quiet because you can't actually talk and do it correctly. So peel back, 12 o'clock navel. Now we're going to roll up just to mid-back, shoulder blade. Hug knees in for a moment. Peel head, neck, shoulders up. Release. Okay. So, when you do corkscrew, you want to be able to go up into a bridge. Hip bones are in alignment. Try dropping one hip lower than the other. So, one hip bone is actually lower than the other. Now I want you to roll down through the left side of your spine. If you drop the left hip, peel down vertebra by vertebra. This is really cool. Return to the mat so your hips are 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. They're even. We're going to go up and then drop the right hip down. Go straight up. Keep spine long neutral. Your right hip drops down a little lower. Now with control, roll down through the right side of your spine. Longissimus, spinalis, iliocostalis. We want to hit those muscles on the side of your spine. I had an adjustment on that side. Return, hips 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, straight across. Go straight up, bridge. Drop left hip lower. Focus on rolling down through the left side of your spine. Inhale. Breathe into those ribs. All the way down. And then return pelvis so it's stable, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. You might even feel quadratus lumborum muscle on the side of the spine lengthen through it. You might get adjustments. Let's just do one more. Hips are 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Pelvis is neutral. You're in between your two tilts of 12 and 6. Hip bones aligned with pubic bone. Lift straight up. Now we're going to drop the right hip lower. Now focus on rolling through right half of spine. Breathe in. All right, I had wobbling back and forth. I was working through some stuff there. Hug in, release. Okay, so here's going to come a corkscrew now. Arms reach long, chest is wide open. We did modified corkscrew before, where you kept your pelvis stable on mat. This one's going to be a little different. What I want you to do is thread abdominal wall into your spine. And then for this one, I'm actually going to have you, we did articulating bridge, feet on mat. Here, I'm going to have you peel the back of your pelvis off the mat, shoulders out of ears, weight through shoulder blade shelf. You're actually going to peel hips up. Now, when you do your corkscrew, you always keep your neck straight. Weight is across shoulder blade shelf. We're going to slowly roll through one half of our spine. Scoop your abdominal wall in. Keep legs reaching long. Feel backs and thighs stretch. Roll down. Legs come around. Circle. Now we're going to roll up on the other side. Roll up. Legs reach long. Now we're going to roll down on the left side of the spine. And then the legs go around. You use your core, wring out the wet sponge. And then inhale. Roll. Lengthen, lengthen. You're going to feel tailbone connect. We're going to come around to the corner, and then we're going to go up on the other side. Inhale. Then we're going to roll through the other half. Create that length. One more time each way. You circle around. Abdominal wall pulls all the way through. Roll through the side. Lengthen, lengthen. Around. Lifting up. You're going to roll through the left side. Really stretch those legs. Feet will be above face. Come back around. Now we're just going to hug legs in and then rock side to side. So that's pretty advanced. I showed you modified where your pelvis never left the mat, and you just keep the sides of your waist long as your legs circle each way. We're going to do a little hip opener. Just release those legs. 4 and 3 and 2. Last one, reverse. So that helped with corkscrew. All right. Now from here, I'm going to have you just turn to one side, press up to a seated position. We're just going to do a little stretch, hands and knees. And then I'm just going to have you were on your back before. You did pelvis and 12 o'clock navel, pelvis and 6 o'clock pubic bone. Here goes rolling towards navel. Here's your 12. And then here's your 6 where the pelvis goes the other way. Stretch apart. So we're just doing a cat-cow. Tailbone down, breastbone down. You're rolling into 12. And then letting your pelvis stretch the other way, 6 o'clock. 4 more. Exhale, shoulder blades wide to sky. And 3. Spread those shoulder blades wide apart. And 2 more times. And last one. Come back center. We're going to come back onto our mat again. And then I'm going to have you do halasana, plow, and yoga. I decided to do plow since we just did a rollover basically. A rollover in Pilates is when you do this. You have to be able to curl your pelvis off the mat by doing that. You scoop abdominals all the way through. So you do it by lengthening low back into mat, and you do it with your legs in the air rather than with your feet on the mat. So you open shoulders, chest. You have to really wring out the wet sponge, sides of waist, scoop abdominals deep into spine. So here is, this will be a roll down in Pilates. What you do, you flex your feet. You bring your feet like hip width apart. And then you use your core and you wring out the wet sponge. You wring all the air out of your lungs as you roll through each section. Keeping the length. You point toes to go up, legs are together, chest wide open, no weight in neck, flex and come down. Keep the length. One more. Feet are together, roll up, over, really lengthen right down through the center. And then we go up with our feet hip width apart. And then we point toes. And then we roll down with legs together, space between ribs and hips. 2 more. Flex your feet, point toes, legs together, ribs out of hips. And one more time. Flex, hip width, peel up, pull legs together, point your toes. Okay, so that's rollover. So here comes halasana, plow, yoga. So you have to press into mat, palms firm, legs lift up, and then you push the hands, the triceps, the back of the arms. And if your feet, toes don't touch the floor, it's okay. What you could do is give your hips a little support. I'm not going to turn my head, but what I want you to do is try to have your shoulder girdle, your shoulders and hips perpendicular, and maybe your feet are up here higher. Maybe they come to the floor. Maybe you clasp hands together behind your back, and then you would breathe. Neck is straight. Weight is going to go into the shoulders. Maybe your hands are further apart, or you support here. So halasana, plow. This helps with insomnia, with headache, with fatigue, with mild depression. This is not good for high blood pressure, high eye pressure. Not good for herniated discs. You wouldn't do this if you're pregnant. Roll down, vertebra by vertebra. All right, so I just wanted to go over a couple things. Slowly, you're going to make your way back up. We'll do a shoulder stand, Salamba Sarvangasana, another day. So I'm not going to do too much tonight. Just wanted to give a couple things to work on. So single leg circle, bridge. Straight bridge is a hinge from the hips. Articulating bridge means you peel into 12 o'clock and you roll up the spine. Modified corkscrew, pelvis stays on mat. If you do a corkscrew where you peel up, remember you got to articulate and peel the pelvis up. So Pilates and yoga, you could have fun, you could flow back and forth between the two the way it's designed. And Pilates came from yoga. So Joseph Pilates studied different movement patterns, animals, dance, martial arts, boxing, animals, yoga, and he melded it all together. So that's why it's similar. There's a lot of similarities. All right. Thank you for joining me. Hope you found this interesting. I like to go a little deeper in breaking things down. It'll be fun to do that with everything. Just step by step. Palms come in to heart center. Another day I'll break down shoulder stand with jackknife. Very similar. Jackknife and Pilates with shoulder stand yoga. So halasana, plow is very similar to rollover. And then we need certain concepts like being able to keep our hips stable to do things like corkscrew. So I just wanted to teach all that. All right. Thanks for joining me. Peace, everyone. Have a great rest of your morning, day, or night. So thanks for joining, and I'll see you again soon. Bye. Bye.